So just as I had prepared you for, the SPY ended up having a very strong bullish closing day on Friday. It even ended up closing $1 below the high of day, which is what I said would likely happen. For those of you who ended up taking advantage of the analysis that I posted on Thursday night for you to profit on Friday, you should have made hundreds of dollars. In terms of last week, you should have made at least $500 at the bare minimum, but ideally over $8,000, man. Last week was a phenomenal opportunity to capture that bull rally that I consistently prepared you for. In terms of Friday, we absolutely crushed it. I've been talking about DJT a lot on this channel. I ended up pulling the trigger and I ended up buying DJT call options. I went with the 17 strike at 11 a.m. I got in at 25 cents a contract. I ended up selling above 200 a contract for over a 1,000% profit return. Those call options ended up going up nearly 2,000%. With that being said, Uncle Tio, Keaton Win, he absolutely crushed it. He ended up going 2 for 2 again on the day. He ended up making nearly $30,000 on Tesla options, and then he ended up making over $140,000 on Amazon call options. And then in terms of my power hour trading session, I ended up making nearly a 100% profit return on SPY call options. Then I had a loss on SPY puts. When you have a trade that makes 1,000%, that means that you can have 9 losses and still be profitable. With that being said, in terms of the overall trades, we're going to be breaking them down towards the end of this video. Right now, we're going to get into the newly updated price action analysis. I'm going to be dissecting the weekly trend. The weekly trend, the weekly pattern on the SPY. Then we're going to be going into the daily. Then we're going to be going into the 30-day, 30-minute. Let's get straight into it. And then towards the end, I'm going to be breaking down the top 3 option plays. I'm going to be discussing GameStop, DJT, ANF. Let's get straight into the analysis. So in terms of the SPY, this is what I need you to be aware of. There's a weekly trend that is currently repeating. So when we capture a trend, and in terms of this trend, this is a more macro trend. This is a more mid to longer term trend. So when you see a mid to long term trend, that means that you can take advantage of some very nice swing trading opportunities. And then in terms of how you break that down, you dissect the chart with lower time frames. You dissect it by the daily chart, and then you dissect it with the 30-minute chart, right, on the intraday chart. So let's get straight into it. In terms of the weekly pattern, let's bring awareness to it. So as you can see right here, we have this green weekly candlestick. We have this green weekly candlestick. You see how they look identical? Then we have this pin right here. Then we have this pin right here. SPY starts to drop. SPY starts to drop. Slanted downtrend. Slanted downtrend. Then you have this red bearish candlestick on the weekly chart right here. And you can see it looks identical to this candlestick right here. So you can see this pattern is repeating in a very similar cycle. There's a lot of similarities in terms of this overall pattern. And then you can see in terms of then what happens the next week. SPY ends up having a gap up, and then it ends up closing very, very strong, $1 below the highs of the week. And the same exact thing ended up happening. As you could see, the SPY had a small gap up and ended up closing very, very strong, $1 below the weekly highs, right? So the point is, there is a pattern that is repeating itself, right? So we're going to continue to measure the moves and capture the trends of this pattern. And we're going to use confirmations at the measured moves at the new levels, right? If we're not getting confirmations to enter the trade, then we're not going to take the trade at the overall levels. If there's a break of trend in the pattern, then we're no longer going to take advantage of that trend. We're going to wait. We're going to wait for the new bull traps, the new bear traps, the new overall trends to get created, along with using other trading strategies that I have. It gets a lot more advanced. This is just one strategy that I'm showing you. If there's a break of trend and you're a beginner, I would just suggest that you wait for the next bull or bear trap to get created, right? So this is what I want you to understand. In terms of this situation, as you could see, look at the next week. The next week, the SPY ended up dropping back towards the lows. It ended up dropping towards this overall, low of this overall candle right here. It dropped back towards the lows, right? So if that history repeats itself, the SPY is going to start to drop back down. You can see right here, if you were to measure the move right here, 510, next week, 512.55. So that's a 2.5 move to the upside. It ended up closing very, very strong and bullish, but at first, into the middle of the week as well, it ended up crashing first. So we are currently at all-time highs. We are currently at major resistance. We are currently at major bull trap territory. Not only that, but there's gaps that are waiting to fill above, right? So if we were to measure the move, what we would do is we would add $2.50 to the, weekly highs. So 565.50 would be the best level possible to buy put options heading into this week based off of that pattern, right? Now, in terms of your gap reversal levels, 564.86 towards the all-time highs, there's a gap that is waiting to fill above. 563.68 towards the all-time highs. There is still a gap that is waiting to fill above, man. Look at this, man. We had a beautiful gap close reversal right towards that gap. You can see right here, there was major resistance right here. It ended up having a double top with a red bearish trend reversal 30-minute confirmation. And I told you in that video on Friday, we can see a $1 drop from the highs, right? So if you're seeing the SPY trading at major resistance later into the day, way towards later, ideally towards power hour, right? But this right here was a good confirmation, man. You had a red bearish trend reversal 30-minute confirmation at the gap, at the highs of day where it had a nice drop. And I told you it's likely going to drop $1 from the highs, right? Which is very, very hard to pinpoint that overall drop. But the 30-minute chart led you in the right confirmation if you waited for the chart to develop. And like I told you, wait till later in the day, right? And then it ended up literally closing $1 below the weekly highs, repeating that history to an exact T, right? So the point is, if we measure the move, 565.50 is your best level possible. Now, obviously, I'm interested in doing put options at the gap reversal levels, 563.68 and 564.86. Those are going to be all the resistance levels where I'm planning to buy put options if I am seeing 30-minute candlestick bearish confirmations, right? So if I'm seeing the trend reversal confirmations, I'm seeing, the candlestick trend reversal 30-minute confirmations, I'm seeing the bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, I'm planning to buy puts at one of those levels. And I gave you the best level possible with the overall measured move. Now, for the bears to take full control, right? So I showed you the weekly chart for that massive drop to happen where the bulls get trapped in between that like 564 to 565 range. For that to happen, this is what needs to happen. For the bears to take full control and to see that massive drop where this can drop 10 to 15 fucking points, man. This is what needs to happen. We need to crack below this key support. This is going to be the level where the bears take full control, right? So if we're topping around 564, 565, SPY is continuing to maintain that overall resistance. The next step would be to go under this support level. We need to go under 561 to 560. If we can break down below that, spike back up, form a new ceiling, form a new roof, form new resistance at that overall zone with bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, you're going to want to be buying put options. So remember, on the bull rally last week, what was one of the strategies that we used at resistance? The break above resistance, wait for the SPY to drop back down. If you're seeing the bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, buy on the initial retest. This is the inverse. You can use the strategies both ways, long and short, calls and puts, right? So if you are seeing not a breakout, if you are seeing a breakdown, you see the support, you see the floor. If you are seeing a breakdown below that level, and you see this is a red bearish 30-minute confirmation, ended up breaking down, look at where the candle's closing. It's closing below the previous floor. That's bearish after it already cracked, right? New lower highs, right? If you are seeing this happening at 560 to 561, you're going to want to buy put options. Look at how fast this can drop to 549, man. Study the overall chart history. We have so much major resistance at this overall level. And we are approaching two gaps that have not filled yet, man. And SPY has had several partial gap close reversals at these gaps, man. So pay attention for the gap reversals heading into this week. Pay attention for the key breakdowns, to go short. Like I said, man, for the bears to truly be in control, it's more about cracking the support, man. The big move is going to be when the support cracks. That battle is going to be towards the resistance. There's going to be a massive battle towards that resistance because within time, the SPY is bound to break above new all-time highs and go above $600, likely within the next 1 to 2 months based off of what I'm seeing on the macro price action, right? So that's just going to be a more small battle zone. But the true big move based off of the weekly chart that I showed you is gonna be the breakdown. It's not even gonna be at the resistance, man. The resistance is gonna be a good level, but the crazy fucking move is gonna be at the lower level, man. So pay attention to both levels, man, and take advantage of this weekly chart. So based off the weekly chart, it can have a small spike to the gaps, to the all-time highs, and then if it goes under 560, we're looking at a massive drop. Look last time. Last time it went from 512.55 all the way down to 499, right? So we had a 13-point drop last time. So if we were to measure the overall move in terms of how big SPY can drop, it's really going to be towards that 549, which would be the game plan for calls, right? Another thing I want to add notice, if you are seeing a bearish or a trend reversal daily candlestick right before the market's closing, if you're seeing that bearish or trend reversal daily candlestick, like 10 minutes before the market closes, you can try to swing trade puts, because if you're seeing it at those levels that I gave you, 565, 564, 560 or slightly under that, you can swing trade puts because the weekly chart shows that we can drop. I showed you the overall drop, man. So in terms of like how big we can really drop, and then this is going to be the buy zone for calls and swing trading calls. It's going to be right towards here, man. The buy zone for calls is truly going to be at this like 549 level. 549 is where I'm interested in buying call options. 549 is where I'm interested in buying call options. And then the next level below that, where I'd be interested in buying call options, is going to be 543. 543 to 542.50 overall zone, man. I'm telling you, if you just look at the weekly chart, it's showing that 549 is going to be a phenomenal level to buy call options, man. So keep an eye on 549, man. And keep an eye on this overall, this level right here, 544 to 545, man. So look, 549 to 544, strong buy zone to potentially swing trade call options. If the SPY drops back down to that zone and you're seeing like a bullish daily candlestick, a bullish trend reversal daily candlestick right before the market closes, you're going to want to swing trade call options, right? So those are the overall game plans. For this to be relevant, you need to see confirmations at the levels I gave you. So for puts, 565, 563.68, 560, right? And then you're using the gap reversal strategy to buy puts at resistance on the higher levels. And then the key breakdown level is going to be a crazy massive drop. If we can go under, use the breakdown and retest strategy. So on the higher levels, you're using a weekly chart pattern. You're using the gap reversal trading strategy. And on the lower level, you're going to be using the breakdown and retest strategy. SPY breaks down, it cracks below the support, it spikes back up, and then you short the overall retest. Use the 30-minute candlestick confirmations. If you are not getting confirmations at these levels, then do not trade. Wait. Be patient. Be disciplined. Wait for the bull and bear traps to get created. Wait for a big move to happen first. Do not be afraid of missing out on the first move, because then you know who's going to get trapped. And then you know in terms of what can potentially happen on the next move, man. So that's going to be the overall game plan, right? I gave you the game plan for calls. I gave you the game plan for puts, right? Now, for a break of trend, it's very simple. So we're capturing a trend on the weekly chart. For a break of trend, this is what needs to happen. The SPY needs to turn 565 into support. If we finally break above 565 and react to support, that would mean that there is a break of overall trend direction, right? So if you just go back throughout the overall further chart, right? Let me go a little bit further back. I'm gonna have to add this, after this overall lesson. But let me go further back, man. Look at this right here. If we finally break above 565 and react to support, and we're seeing the bullish 30-minute floor, it's continuing to push higher, like 566 plus. That means there's a break of trend, and that's when the SPY is just going to start ripping and ripping for new all-time highs. But if you're seeing those bearish confirmations, take advantage of this, man. Look at all of the resistance. Look at all of the bull traps. Look at all of the massive flushes that have occurred when we go under 560, when we go under 555. That's why you need to pay attention to those breakdown levels as well, because there's going to be a lot of volatility at those overall levels if the SPY is struggling to break above that 565 level and turn it into support, right? So again, if we're breaking above 566, there's a break of trend. What I said is irrelevant. There's a break of trend. Then you got to wait for the new levels, wait for the new strategies. It gets a lot more advanced, right? So in terms of this video, I'm mainly showing you some trends that you can capitalize on with the levels. And you got to use the candlestick strategies along with everything else it is that I'm teaching you about price action and charts, right? To confirm that these levels are going to work, that this history is going to continue to repeat itself, right? Because at some point, this trend is going to break, right? So with that being said, if you take a look at the weekly chart, man, it's just very interesting, man. Just looking at this weekly chart, man, is very interesting. Just looking at this weekly chart, it's showing that, you know, we can have a strong dip and then recover, closing very, very strong at the highs. So there's an opportunity to swing trade puts. There's an opportunity to swing trade calls if this repeats itself. And then from there, it's showing there's unlimited upside potential, man. So I'm telling you, man, based off of how SPY is setting up, man, if we can close overall bullish on the week, there's going to be a phenomenal opportunity to swing trade call options. This is my next point, man. On the daily chart, if you're seeing bullish or trend reversal candlestick confirmations under $550 this week, you're going to want to swing trade call options. And I would encourage you to give yourself some time and go further out. You can go a month out. You can go 2 months out. I wouldn't do more than 3 months, but I'm telling you, give yourself some fucking time, man, because look at this, man. If this pattern repeats itself and the weekly candle closes green above last week's highs, the SPY is going to be on track for a very bullish run. We're talking about a run above $600, man. This can go to like $650 fucking dollars within the next 3 months if this week closes bullish. So I'm telling you, this is a very important fucking week, man. Make sure you guys are on top of this. And again, we're going to take it one day at a time. Like I said, man, I'm giving you the ideas. You got to be able to confirm that this stuff is actually going to work. So we update it day by day. This is all updated, all in real time within, within Team Roar, right? So that's the overall game plan. And that's just some things that I wanted to bring awareness to, in terms of SPY. Like in terms of measuring the moves, if 565 breaks out, reacts to support, then we're going to be on track to like 570 plus, right? But you got to take things one step at a time and just be aware we're at some major fucking resistance. Now, in terms of the stocks, let's break down some stocks here. So I'm keeping an eye on GameStop for a potential bounce. You can see right here, you have this red candlestick. You have this red candlestick. You have this red candlestick in the middle. You have this red candlestick on the middle. This is a weekly chart. So the main point I just want to make on GameStop is if we gap up tomorrow, I'm going to be interested in buying and potentially swing trading call options. So for a true break and trend to go super bullish heading into tomorrow, we need to gap up and we just need to turn this $21 into support. So if we gap up, if we turn 21 into support, GameStop's going to be on pace to go to $23.50. Once we fill the gap at $23.50, it's going to be on pace to drop. It's going to be on pace to drop, right? So if we're gapping up, I'm likely going to swing trade some call options, go further out on those, sell into the gap, and then we can look for an opportunity to day trade put options, right? Towards Thursday, towards Friday, when the contracts are getting extremely cheap on these stocks, we can look for a gap reversal, look for bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations at this $23.50 for GameStop. That's going to be the game plan, right? So if what I said is not happening, then just disregard it, right? So I'm looking for a gap up. If we get a gap up, I'm interested in buying call options. Break above 21 overall this week sends us to $23.50. If we're getting bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations at $23.50 later into this week, I'm planning to buy put options there. Now, DJT, let's get into this, man. So this was a phenomenal trade that I ended up having, man. You guys have been well aware on this channel. I've been preparing you to trade this best setup. You guys are well aware I'm the one who created the unique gap close reversal trading strategy. I've trained over 2,000 students with this overall trading strategy. Now, with that being said, I made it very, very clear this was a very oversold gap, one of the lowest gaps, if not the lowest, waiting to fill below on DJT at 1732, which means I'm going to be interested in targeting DJT, especially a stock like this that has a lot of volume, has a lot of momentum, has a history of having very strong spikes, right, in a very short period of time. Is likely going to bounce at that gap when you're seeing those green bullish daily candlesticks. It's pretty crazy. If you go back and you look at this short that I posted on my channel, go look at the shorts. The daily chart looks fucking identical to SAVA. I was telling investors to buy Sava stock when it was at $2 using this strategy. And then Sava stock ended up going to $118 during the pandemic, right? So these daily candlesticks literally look fucking identical to the Sava chart. And then, DJT finally had its day when it was exploding. So I was looking at this on Friday and I was saying, we closed the gap at 1732. And I was looking at the overall 30-minute chart and I was saying, premiums are extremely cheap right now. DJT is extremely oversold. I couldn't believe how fucking cheap these contracts were. So I said, you know what? Why not give it a shot, man? It's holding above the previous closing price, forming these pins in the pre-market. It's forming all these green bullish 30-minute confirmations above previous day's resistance. It's bound to spike and fill the fucking gap. In what better time to not try it when the contracts are extremely low risk and very, very cheap? Do you realize when you trade in terms of percentage gains, when you make a 1000% return, right, on an overall trade, you can have 9 losses in a row after that, and you can still be green, man. Do the fucking math. So it's very, very simple when you're making big percentage gains, man. Like I said, if you're making 1000% gains, you can have 9 losses in a row and you'll still be up on the overall situation, right? As long as you have the proper risk management 101 and position sizing. So with that being said, man, it happened to be the day. And then, there's some people that will say, oh, it was luck. It was luck. Positive news came out, right? And my response to that is, there's a reason why people say buy low, sell high. And then in terms of my experience with using the strategy that I've created, I've noticed when you target at very oversold levels at the gaps at certain stocks, when you use my strategy, positive news is what comes with it. I've noticed when these stocks get extremely low, well, it's bound to have some positive news. You think they're just going to let it fucking sink to fucking zero? It's bound to have some sort of positive catalyst, some sort of positive fucking news. So learn what comes with the game. If you want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to fucking win, buy fucking low at the fucking gaps with the confirmation. And then you're going to see in certain situations, that's what comes with the game. Positive news can potentially come with the game. And I was looking at the prices of the contracts and I'm saying they're so fucking cheap. I'm telling you, if you just study prices of option contracts, they're going to help dictate the overall price action of the stock, and it's going to help point you in the overall direction. I'm not saying it's going to help time it perfectly. It could with a quick scalp, but it's going to help point you in the overall direction. And I'm telling you, I was looking at the price of these fucking calls, and I'm saying, today's the fucking day, man. Friday's the day. They're expiring fucking worthless, man. I've been watching this stock waiting all fucking week for an opportunity. Today's the day. I'm giving it a shot. Just think about it. If I were to do that every single fucking week on Friday, I'm bound to hit a fucking 10x play at some fucking point, man. I'm telling you, there's traders out there who trade this way. They go extremely far out and they make massive gains like 500%, 1000%. Some of these traders have the lowest win rate doing this. And that's what trading's about, man. Trading, in terms of setting a very strong foundation, if you want to set yourself up for a very strong foundation, you need to figure out how to win and how to become profitable with a very low win rate. You can have a low win rate with any type of fucking strategy, but not every strategy, not every system you have is going to allow you to be successful with a low win rate. So once you figure out how to become successful with a low win rate, then you start to figure out how to build up that foundation, how to increase your win rate, man. Think about it. If you've mastered trading, that means in a sense, in terms of a strong foundation, you figured out how to go green with a win rate under 50%. The professionals, they'll figure out how to go green with a win rate at 30%, man. They've figured it out. So once you've figured that out, if you keep on working towards that system, that means over time, your win rate should continue to increase. And then what happens is over time, over a decade, over tens of thousands of hours put in, you start to make the impossible look possible. People can't fucking believe it, man, because they're saying, like, how the fuck are these people making multiple 100% profit returns, 1000% profit returns, but they have extremely high win rates doing this? How the fuck is that possible, man? I'm telling you, if you put the fucking work in, you put in the tens of thousands of hours in, and you go through it, it's possible, man. It is possible. If you have that foundation where you're already profitable with a low win rate, from there, you just keep on increasing the fucking win rate. That's the icing on the fucking cake. That's the main thing left to improve from there, right? So that was the overall play on DJT, man. Like I said, I learned that play in real time. It was fucking phenomenal. Now, in terms of this week, man, it's going to try to retest. Look at this, man. I pointed this out in the videos I was making earlier this week. On the daily chart, when it forms these green bullish candlesticks, it tries to retest the wicks. Do you see the wick? Look at the wick on DJT. You see the wick? It tries to spike and retest. It tries to spike and retest. It tries to spike and retest this wick. So you have a wick right here at $20.80. You see the wicks right here? Well, it spiked and retested the fucking wicks, right? So you got a new wick at $20.80. Now, for the bullish breakout, this is what you need to be aware of, man. First things first, we're going to look at the 30-minute chart. This is what you really need. We need to hold above this $17 to maintain overall bullish. DJT needs to hold above $17 for the overall support level. Now, for the bullish breakout of resistance, it's going to be towards this like 18 range, 18 to 1850, man. But that's just the 30-minute chart. And again, if it breaks above that, then we're on track to retest that wick towards that $21 zone, right? But this is what I want you to be aware of as well. This is like make or fucking break this daily candle right here. Yeah, 2080. Look at this, man. So if it breaks above 2080, the next level we're going to is 28. It can go to the mid 20 zone, man. So 18 to 1850 is your resistance level. And like I said, man, $17 is your support. And if we can break above that 1850, we're on track for 21. If we break above 21, that's the next strong bullish move on DJT. So for this one, man, if we're not looking off strong, and like I said, the contract's going to be very, very high on this overall situation. So what I'm planning to do is pretty much the same fucking thing I did last week, man. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait, man. I'm just going to wait for it to chop back down towards one of the levels, whether it's 17, 1650, or whether it's towards that resistance level at 18. When the contracts are cheap towards that Thursday to Friday range, that's when I'm going to be interested in it. So right now, I'm not too interested in it, man. But GameStop, right away, I'm interested in it. I'll be willing to pay a little bit more on contracts on that since it hasn't really done much. Like DJT had already had a massive move up. So I'm going to wait towards like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on that one. But GameStop, like I said, if we're gapping up, I'd be willing to just get in on that one. And then ANF, man, I'm telling you, Abercrombie & Finch, this is a phenomenal stock. Consistently pushes for new all-time highs. We have a gap that's waiting to fill above at 166.58, right? We also have a gap that's waiting to fill above at 190. So this is a great stock to do midterm call options on. And I gave you the midterm macro call option idea on SPY as well, man. So pay attention to that idea on SPY. Like I said, if SPY has a very strong bullish closing week, closing above the weekly highs, I'm going to be very interested in swing trading those overall macro calls, likely 2 months out at the bare minimum, maybe 3. So in terms of ANF, this is what I want you to be aware of, man. Previous resistance to react to support, the break and retest strategy, right? So SPY had a gap up, it had a gap and go, wait for it to drop back down to the previous resistance right here towards this 137.50, right? Is likely going to react to support because it had a gap up, it had a gap and go, it had a strong move to 146. So there's also a gap that's waiting to fill below. So that's a stock. Previous resistance to react to support, SPY has a gap up, has a gap and go, breaks out. Once it drops back down, retest 137.70, reacts to support, bullish reversal, right? Well, there's also a gap. There's a gap that's waiting to fill below. So you stack that 137.54, you buy the call options there. So if Abercrombie & Finch can drop back down to 137.50, I'm planning to buy call options there. I'm going to be looking for the 30-minute bullish confirmations, right? If we are seeing a daily or a trend reversal daily candlestick before the close, once it drops back down to this below 138, I'm willing to swing trade call options. That's going to be the game plan on Abercrombie & Finch. If we are bottoming towards that 137.50, it is bound to push higher and retest that wick and try to break out above 145. We have gaps that are waiting to fill above. Keep an eye on that for a phenomenal swing trading idea, man. So look, DJT, we got a potential swing trading idea setting up later into this week, right? Wait for the contracts to get cheap. Don't mind missing on the overall move. GameStop could be right away. Abercrombie & Finch could be right away, right? I like the overall setup. So we're going to be paying attention to that daily overall chart. Now, in terms of Team Roar, man, we absolutely crushed it, man. Look at this, man. I got to give a big shout out to Uncle Tio, man. Keaton Win, man. Forbes 30 under 30, man. This guy's absolutely crushing it, man. On Thursday, he went 2 for 2, making over $600,000. And then on Friday, he comes back 2 for 2 again, over $27,000 on these Tesla call options. And he's alerting everything it is that he's doing in real time, man. Everything that is that he's doing, he's alerting in real time, man. He said his average for Tesla is 43, man. He's giving you real-time market analysis on where he's entering the trades in real time, where he adds to the positions, man. It's absolutely phenomenal, man. And he's absolutely crushing it. So I got to give a big shout out to him. Like I said, man, back-to-back green days. As soon as he gets back, 2 for 2 on the overall week. He's up over 700K, man. Look at this. Look at this next trade he had, man. This fucking trade was crazy, man. Look at this, man. So in terms of this next trade, man, this was absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to walk you through this, man. He had a phenomenal trade on Amazon call options. He got in on Amazon call options, 187.5 strike at 45 cents a contract. He added at 41 cents a contract. And then in terms of this trade, man, it ended up taking off. Look at this, man. This trade ended up going up over 65%, man. He made over $140,000 on that overall trade, man. So with that being said, man, for those of you who are serious about making money, for those of you who are serious about being surrounded by multimillionaires, for those of you who are serious about buying cheap, far, low risk, out of money option contracts, selling them deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains within the market, is going to be the first link down below within the description, man. Because I'm telling you, man, the win rate over here, it's above 90%. We're absolutely crushing it every single day, man. And we're buying cheap, low risk, far out of money option contracts. I'm telling you, man, this trade alone that I had on DJT, like I said, man, if you're having trades where you're making 1,000% return and you understand proper risk management sizing, you can have 9 losses in a row and still be fucking green. If not break even, man, you could still fucking crush it, man. That's the beauty of having 1,000% gains. It offsets all the fucking losses, man. I could have 8 losses in a row, lose 100% on each fucking trade. Then I make 1,000% on the next trade. I just made back all the fucking losses and I'm fucking green, man. Do the fucking math. It's a numbers game, man. So you have to put yourself in positions. You have to put yourself in trades that have high probabilities, man. Options will give you options, but far out of the money options will give you unlimited options to do whatever it is that you want to do in terms of entering the highest probability trades within the market. Like I said, man, you'll see professional traders, they'll optimize for a system. They'll optimize for building a foundation where they can be successful, they can be profitable with an extremely low win rate. Like I said, man, in terms of trading, you can master anything, man. And with options, you can master spreads. There's a lot of different things you can do with options, right? But my style of trading is the highest probabilities, man. I know how to measure big overall moves. I know when they're expected to overall happen. So why would I buy fucking shares? Why would I buy in the money options? Why would I pay more? If I'm paying more, I'm risking more and I'm making less percentage gains. It makes no fucking sense. I'm someone who actually holds my fucking trades. So the reward, the benefit of holding your fucking trades is putting yourself in a position where you buy something that's cheap, low risk, that gives you the highest percentage gains, cheap, far out of money options. Like I said, the people who trade these contracts are the ones who are holding their trades for longer periods of time, man. So that's the key to options, man. You got to go further out of the money. You got to put yourself in situations where you can make unlimited percentage gains with the lowest barrier, lowest risk to entry. That's the only way, man, especially for small accounts. That's their only fucking chance, man. If you have a small account, that's your only chance. Rich people, they prefer to do this because, like I said, they want to pay less. They want to risk less to make the biggest percentage gains. They want to put their money in the highest probabilities of a game. If you're the true best, this is what you've mastered, man. So in terms of the system that we've optimized for, this is what we've optimized for, right? So if we mastered trading, if we mastered price action, we can do anything. We can go long, we can buy shares, we can go short on shares, right? We can short sell fucking penny stocks, right? We can do the hard to borrow the shares to fucking short the fucking penny stocks. We can do whatever it is the fuck we want to do if we mastered fucking trading. But like I said, what we focus on is cheap, far, low risk, out of money option contracts. We have the highest success rate in the game doing this. Not that we need a high success rate doing this to be profitable with this overall strategy. It's offering the biggest percentage gains within the overall market, right? So that's what we focus on, and that's what we consistently crush on. If you're serious about joining the group, it's going to be the first link down below within the description. You'll get access to a real-time zero-day options trading alert system where you get access to all of our trade alerts, right? So just to give you some background to the overall system that we've created. We set profit stops. So in terms of profit stops, we set profit stops. We get stopped out for profits, right? In terms of averaging our cost, we like to add to winners. When we're up like 10%, 15%, 20%, right? I know for a lot of traders, that's good for them, right? But for us, that's very small. It's very small. It's very tiny, very small percentage gains, right? We like 100%, we like 200%, we like, 1,000% a couple times a month, right? Offset any fucking losses, right? Put us on top of the fucking game. So what we do is we add to winners quickly. When we're up a little bit, that means that our winning confirmation is working, and we try to avoid averaging our costs down, right? So we like to add to wins because when we win, we tend to win big. So when we see a winning confirmation, when we're already up like, 10, 15, 20%, we like to add to wins. Then from there, we set profit stops. After we set the profit stop, we move the profit stop as the trade is working in our favor. So if the trade has a big move against us, we don't get back the bulk of the gains, right? We protect our average cost and we ensure that we do not go green to red on the overall trade. Another advantage of doing this overall system that we have is options give you unique options. Now, in terms of one of the unique options that we have is we put in our max risk per trade, right? So the profit stop protects us. It protects our new average cost from winning. It allows us to win bigger and win more, right? In a safe way. It allows us to protect our overall gains to ensure that we don't lose the bulk of the move as we're capturing the bulk of the move, right? It ensures that we're not going to go green to red. It secures us, right? Now, in terms of another unique aspect to this system is we do not use stop losses. Our max risk per trade is in the contracts, right? So whatever we're putting in to these contracts, right? The dollar amount that we're putting in is our max risk per trade. And again, these are the lowest, cheapest contracts. You're going to typically see the contracts that we are buying are under 50 cents, right? They're under $50 a contract, right? It's the cheapest low risk barrier to entry. So the point being is we don't need a stop loss. We are putting in our max risk dollar, right, into the trade. If the contracts expire worthless, if they expire out of the money and we lose on the trade, we lose our max risk per trade at most, meaning we don't need a stop loss. So if we don't need a stop loss, all we need is the contracts to go in the money at some point throughout the day, right? So this allows us to remove the stop loss while having the max risk per trade system set in place, right? And it also allows us to hold the trade throughout the entire day. My experience in Team Roar in terms of the dead plays, a dead play is when a trade drops below 50%. So if we enter contracts at 50 cents and they drop to 25 cents, we're down 50%, right? That's a dead play when it drops 50% from our entry. We usually do not average our cost down. We like to average our cost up, add to winners very, very quickly into the win, right? I already explained that. So when a dead play drops below 50%, my experience, 70% of the time, it goes in the money at some point throughout the day, meaning we're likely going to be selling for an overall win, even if we're down 50% of the time. And in terms of that situation, in my experience, 70% of the times that happens. They're just bound to go into money throughout the whole fucking day. We have the whole fucking day to hold the contracts, man. So those are some things that we're doing differently over here inside of Team Roar. If you want to gain access to a 0-day trading options alert system, it's going to be the first link down below within the description. You'll be seeing my trades. You'll be seeing Keytown Wins trades, Uncle Tio. You'll be seeing G-Wars trades. It's the first link down below within the description. If you want to trade with us, I can assure you we are going to absolutely crush it heading into this week, man. I'm excited, man. This is I'm telling you, I'm very excited because you need to understand, man, the market is on fucking fire. There's people who are making 6 figures a day within this market. We got one of them in our secured private organization. I'm telling you, the market's on fucking fire. Look at how many times we've retested the new all-time highs. You know how exciting that's going to be to see if that trend is going to repeat itself and we get the confirmations to take advantage of puts, then buy calls on that fucking dip. It's going to be madness, man. There's going to be fucking madness. There's going to be day trading opportunities towards the gaps on puts if we get the confirmations. There's going to be day trading opportunities towards the key breakdown if we get the confirmations. There's going to be day trading opportunities. There's going to be a swing trading opportunity on puts if we get the daily confirmation. And then there's going to be a swing trading opportunity on calls if we get the daily confirmation at the lower levels towards 545 to 549. Then there's going to be day trading opportunities to buy call options. Do you see how much fucking opportunity is setting up? And then in terms of if that trend does not repeat itself and there's a break of pattern or break of trend, well, there's still going to be opportunity, but I'm telling you, it's not going to be as good in terms of as what I prepared you for. But we will adapt accordingly and we will wait to seize the next opportunity on the overall new trend if there is a break in trend. But I'm telling you, man, the market's on fucking fire. Do you see how many false breakouts, how many fakeouts there is bound to fucking, towards these all-time highs? I'm telling you, man, this is the best fucking time to get in. We're approaching the gap reversal levels. We're approaching a potential key breakdown level. We're approaching swing trades on puts, swing trade on calls. Listen, man, I'm locked the fuck in. I'm taking advantage of every single fucking key level, every single fucking trade idea. I'm taking advantage of, man. And if there's a break of trend, we will adapt accordingly. We'll wait for the new bull and bear traps. We will be disciplined enough to wait for the new setups to arise, to trade the best setups at the best prices. So I'm telling you, man, I'm being very honest with you. The market's on absolute fucking fire. This is the best time to get in. If you want to trade alongside with us, it's the first link down below in the description. That's what we do. We trade. It's the first link down below within the description. I'm signing off. I will see you guys tomorrow within the chat.